Hi. I know it's been a minute, but I'm back with the Eight of Wands. And this is from my Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. The astrology associated with this card is Sagittarius and the planet Jupiter. The chakra with the wands in general has been associated with the sacral chakra, but this could also be associated with the throat chakra, as we saw in the Seven of Wands. The element associated with this card is fire, and numerically, this is all sums of 8. It holds the energy of 8. The keywords associated with this card in an upright position are travel, news, hastiness, speed, progress, movement, action, rushing, exciting times, freedom, holiday, or a holiday romance taking off, gaining momentum, ahead of your thinking on your feet, or sudden action. Sorry about the little noises there. So in reverse, this is returning from travel or holidays, restriction, bad timing, and losing momentum. This is a yes card in the upright position. So when I first look at the Eight of Wands, I do think it's kind of pippish, but upon closer inspection, I can see that there is scenery in the background. We have mountains and a river, and it looks like the castle that has been in the previous wands is in the distance. And then looking at the different lengths here, like it's showing the different momentum, but it's almost of the wands I'm talking about, but it's almost like they're racing each other. So just from that alone, I feel like this is the forefront. This is what's happening right now. And the wands themselves are showing almost like it's in a race. There's speed associated with this card. Now, when this card comes up in a reading, it represents the hastiness, the speed, the progression of movement and action. It also means that there's sudden action going on, maybe something exciting. It could mean that this time in your life, you might be wanting to travel. And it could be significant, maybe of personal freedom. So whatever you have going on in this moment is going to take off at great speeds. You could be gaining momentum at every moment and feeling very positive and energetic. So your hard work is paying off when you see this. And on the other side, you could be infatuated with something or obsessed. You could be maybe getting carried away with what you're focusing on, which in turn kind of slows you down in your progress. If it is in, like, say, an obsessive type manner that you're losing sight of everything else. And I'm just thinking these are all possible aspects that we might identify in a reading, depending on, obviously, why this card is in the reading, where it's at in the reading. So, and I think that about all tarot. In fact, the more that I learn these, I'm learning that, because of the layered meanings of the card, it is helpful more, like, say, in a spread situation, like if you're using a tarot spread, then it's good to know the many layers. Sometimes if we're just looking for instant answers, then it's the most basic of the meanings. That's just something I thought I'd add in there this time. And I do feel that tarot is definitely the communication between yourself and your higher consciousness. So, I mean, the interpretation is totally yours, So I believe in intuition, layered on top of, the actual meaning of the card. So everybody is going to read tarot differently. And I think that's beautiful. That's what makes it so you are able to pick the person that reads for you, or you start reading yourself, because the interpretation is your own. So let's look at some symbology in this card. So on that note of what I was just thinking about with interpretation, obviously that is our own, the person that is interpreting the card. Notice there's no people in this card either. So I'm thinking that was on purpose. Are these javelins or wands, are they flying through the air upwards or downwards? Weight has actually implied that, quote, they draw to the term of their course, quote. But there's no right answer here because we are instinctively reading this depending on where it falls in the reading. So again, they could be pointed downwards or they could be pointed upwards. Also note that most of these wands or javelins are pretty much in the trajectory the same, like they were launched at the same time, but then you have a couple that are a little bit logging, and that has been suggested that could be like an afterthought, like the hastiness, and then you're like, ooh, wait a minute. So I think I've mentioned this before, but wands has also been associated with like magic. So, if you're asking, if you're, practicing some type of divination and you're asking, did it work? This is a good card to say that yes, and it's moving very quickly. So I'm now talking about the scenery with the river. That can represent like the flow, the natural flow of things. It can represent memory, subconscious, and then we have hills. Those are kind of like obstacles, but maybe they're in the past, maybe they're behind you, or maybe whatever it is you're focusing on is taking precedence over those two things because it's right in the now. It's happening now. And then with the castle, maybe if it's the same castle, that's still representing you, yourself, your goals. So it's always in the back of your mind. It's always there. You can return to that. Maybe if things are moving too quickly, return to that. Or it could just mean that your goal is still in sight. It's always there and you are moving quickly towards it. It just depends on how you see this. This card for me does represent like the time is now. That's like my motto. It's like if you want something, if you want something to happen, you need to take that action, but you can't be too hasty either. You need to keep all those things in mind. So the blue sky is like keeping a clear conscience maybe. It's kind of got a peaceful feeling to it. So, moving quickly, but still keeping all those goals and all those other things, like being mindful, but realizing that everything is important, but what is really important is now. It's how you proceed. So it's almost cautionary, but it's magnificent. So again, this is just, for entertainment purposes only and my interpretation, what I see, and I want to share it with you. So there you go. That's the Eight of Wands.